بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفاه وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفاه أما بعد. My name is Muhammad Umar Ismail and I am the Imam of the Islamic Center of Lake Travis. This presentation is concerning zakat on 401k, IRAs, and pension plans and other investments. What we will cover in this presentation is, first of all, what is a 401k, what is an IRA, and what is a pension plan? What are the differences between them? And how do they affect your zakat? Is there zakat on these retirement accounts? That is a question I normally get um, quite a bit, and I've been getting for the last 18 years as an imam. And then we're going to discuss what percentage of the 401k and IRA is zakatable. So we will conclude that yes, they are zakatable. And then do we pay on them the whole amount, or do we pay on just a portion of the 401k or IRA? And then we will talk about how to calculate your zakat on your 401k and IRA accounts. And in order to calculate your zakat on 401k and IRAs, you have to be able to know what the zakatable assets are of the companies you've invested in and what the non-zakatable assets are. And then we're going to talk a little bit about giving zakat on shares and stocks. Shares and stocks that you have for long-term investment or short-term investment outside of your retirement account. So first of all, what is a 401k? This is taken from the IRS website. A 401k is a feature of a qualified profit sharing plan that allows employees to contribute a portion of their wages to individual accounts. Okay, and then the rest of the definition, those of you interested can read on your own. But over here, what I want to highlight is that over here it says that employees to contribute a portion of their wages. Okay, so what we need to prove over here is that the 401k belongs to the employee. And because it belongs to the employee is liable to give zakat on it. And that is what I am going to prove in this presentation, that because the 401k does belong to the employee is liable to give zakat on it. Moving forward, IRA accounts. Most of you know that an IRA is an account set up at a financial institution that allows an individual to save for retirement with tax-free growth or on a tax-deferred basis. So there are three main types of IRAs. We're not going to go into the details. Basically, an IRA is an account that people, mostly with businesses, who are not employed, who do not have an employer, who don't have a boss, they will set up an IRA account for their own retirement, and there's no connection to an employer. There's no employment involved in this. Basically, IRAs are the same as 401ks in terms of zakat being due on them. So again, because the IRA belongs to the individual who set it up, that is why zakat is liable on them as well. Zakat is due on them as well. On the other hand, we have pension plans. Pension plans are normally plans set up by the government for their employees. Government employees usually have pension plans, which is slightly different from a 401k. It is different in the sense that a pension plan is set up by the employer on behalf of the employee, and the employer invests for the employee. without the employees opting in. So the employee cannot opt in or cannot opt out. Sorry, employee cannot opt out. So the employee in a 401k, the employee has the choice to opt in or opt out, whereas in a pension plan, the employee does not have a choice. It is not elective for him, um, and he is literally forced into accepting the pension plan. Um, Social Security is an example of a pension plan that all of us have, that all citizens of the United States have, and it is something that we cannot opt out of. So the ruling is there is no zakat on pension plans until the employee begins to receive payments. Why? The reason behind that is because the employee did not opt in for it electively. It was not his choice. In a 401k and IRA, you are opening the account with choice. You're doing it electively. Back in the day, if people wanted to save money, they would dig a hole in the ground somewhere in the jungle, or they would find some place and they would bury the money. They would bury the treasure, and then they would tell their children that when I die, you can take the money from here, um, or they basically would do that so that when they, if a time comes when they need the money, they can just go there and take the money from there. So putting money away in a 401k or IRA is similar to burying a treasure, burying your money so that you can dig it up later on in life, or you can have your children dig it up later so that they can benefit from it. However, because it is still your money and you have not given it away, um, it is considered to be your possession, your ownership. Thus, you to give zakat on it. So, a quick overview of the difference between a 401k and IRA and a pension plans. So, in a 401k and IRA plans, the employee or the individual has the option to opt in or opt out. Okay. The employer gives the employee the option to opt in or to opt out of opening a 401k account. Similarly, in an IRA, the individual will open it optionally, electively. Nobody will force him to open it. Similarly, um, the employee in a 401k and IRA, the employee or the individual is the investor via a broker. On the other hand, in a pension plan or a social security plan, the employee or the individual has no option to opt out, right? The employer will invest for the employee. So that is the difference between both that is well known to a lot of people. And so based on that, zakat is due on 401k accounts and IRA accounts, whereas it is not due on pension plans and Social Security. Going over the reasons and the reasons why I say there is zakat on a 401k account is number one, the question here is who does it belong to? Does it belong to the employer? Does it belong to the broker? Or does it belong to the account holder? Okay, and the same ruling applies to IRAs as well. Who does it belong to? That's the question. If it belongs to the account holder, if it belongs to the employee, then that person is liable to give zakat on it. I hope that makes sense. So whoever it belongs to has to pay zakat. Simple as that, right? You have money it's over the threshold of zakat, you have to pay zakat on it. Okay. So the key here is opting in electively. In a 401k, you're opting in electively to open it, and that is why you are liable to pay zakat on it. In a pension plan, you do not opt in. And because you're not opting in, there's no zakat due on pension plans until you start receiving the money. So um, most citizens of the United States have Social Security accounts. There is no zakat on Social Security accounts until you actually start receiving the money. And then once you start receiving the money, then it would depend on whether it reaches the threshold or not, etc. You got to look into the other, all the conditions of zakat need to be fulfilled before you pay zakat on it. Um, what percentage of a 401k account or IRA account is zakatable? So now people will ask, do we have to pay zakat on the whole amount of 401k? It could be in the millions. Some people have their 401k accounts um, are, because they've been open for so long, um, they could be in the millions. They could have earned millions by now. So a good estimate that I give is to pay on anywhere between 33% to 50% of your 401k account or IRA account. So for example, if you have $100,000 in your 401k account, you would be paying on $33,000 only. You'd be paying on 33% of it only, or you can take this number to up to about 50%. That is a good estimate. Wherever your heart feels comfortable with, anywhere between 33% to 50%. If you want to go over 50%, that is up to you as well. Now, how did I come up with this estimate, 33% to 50%? So basically, on the day zakat is due, if you were to cash out your 401k, how much would you have in your hands, right? So how much would you get in your hands? That is what you need to look at. So first of all, we know that there's a 10% penalty for early withdrawal. Those of you who have 401k, you would probably know that there's a 401k, there's a 10% penalty on early withdrawal for 401ks. So you deduct that 10% penalty because that is not going to come into your hands. Okay? And then those of you who live in the United States, you know that everything is taxable here, almost everything. And so you're going to be taxed anywhere between 20 to 30%. Okay, so you're going to deduct that or whatever amount is applicable. Okay, so uh, you would know best how much taxes is applicable, and so based on that, you would deduct that as well. And then you estimate and deduct the percentage of non-zakatable assets of the company in your portfolio. Now, this is almost an impossible task to do, and that is why I use the word estimate. You're going to estimate it. Uh, if you want, you can go through your portfolio, look at what type of companies you've invested in, and then based on that, come up with a safe and conservative estimate. Okay, and that estimate can range anywhere between 33% to 50% of your 401k or IRA account. Okay, now I use the word non-zakatable assets. What are the non-zakatable assets and what are the zakatable assets of a company? Most of you are going to be asking this question, that what does the sheikh mean by zakatable and non-zakatable assets of a company? So basically, if you were to own a business, what are you going to pay zakat on? Okay. So basically, you're not going to pay zakat on the land of your business. You're not going to pay zakat on the buildings of your business. Even though you own the land, even though you own the buildings, you're not going to pay zakat on them. The machinery that you need to run your business or to manufacture the goods, there's no zakat on them, right? Equipment, you can have computers maybe, or cash register, or shelves to put the goods on, and maybe carpet on the ground, and some other things, to help you run your business. Uh, there's no zakat on the stationery, pens, pencils, all those things that you need to run your business. There's no zakat on them. What is zakatable? Okay, the raw materials that you use to manufacture goods, and then the manufactured goods themselves that are ready to be sent into the marketplace to be sold on a profit. Okay, and then the cash that has come in. Okay, and then according to some goodwill, nowadays, if you run a successful business, the name of your business uh, is uh, is given a reputation in the business world, and that reputation has value behind it, and you can sell it actually uh, in some cases in the market. And so according to some, that is zakatable as well. And so these are the zakatable assets, and these are the non-zakatable assets. Just some examples. There are more as well that would fit under both categories. And so the price of a share, a stock, represents both types of assets. Okay. So if, for example, IBM share is $100, that $100 will represent the land that is owned by IBM, the buildings that are owned by IBM, the machinery, equipment, stationery, along with all the raw materials they use to manufacture their goods, their computers, and their everything, the chips and everything, the computers that they've already manufactured, or the whatever they're manufacturing nowadays, cash that they have, and then the goodwill. IBM has a name, of course. Okay, so all these are zakatable. Now, what portion of the $100 share, okay, is represented by the non-zakatable asset, and what portion is represented by the zakatable assets? This is where you have to use your mind and your taqwa to come up with a safe estimate, a conservative estimate, right? To sort of um, demonstrate this is just say the market value of a share is $100 over here. So maybe, $30 of that represents the land, $20 of that represents the buildings, $10 represents the machinery, $10 represents the equipment, $10 represents the cash, and maybe $20 represents the goods, the manufactured goods, the inventory um, that is accountable. So what is zakatable out of all these assets? Only the cash and goods, which is like $30 out of $100. So basically, you do not have to give zakat on the whole $100. You're only going to give zakat on $30, right? So just say, for example, you bought one share of IBM for $100, then you're only going to give zakat on it on $30, right? So you're going to work out 2.5% of $30, not 2.5% of $100, right? So just say you bought 10 shares of IBM for $100 each. That means your shares are worth $1,000, right? And so you would be paying zakat on 30% of the $1,000, and you would not be paying zakat on 100% of the $1,000. So basically, you would have to calculate 2.5% of 30% of $1,000, not the whole amount. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And so this is how you would calculate your portfolio uh, that makes up your 401k or IRA account. And again, like I said, it's impossible to know exactly where your money is being invested in a 401k or IRA account. However, your responsibility is to estimate safely and conservatively so that your zakat is being paid as commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, when it comes to giving zakat on shares and stocks outside of your retirement account, just say on the side you've invested in shares and stocks, or your business is basically investing in shares and stocks. So people invest with two intentions. One intention is to short-term invest, or sometimes to invest for long-term purposes. Short-term investment would mean you bought it today, it went up 1 cent, you're going to sell it right away to make a profit, right? So your intention is to make a profit, immediate profit, off of the short-term investment. So it will be termed as a business good. Your shares will be termed as a business good, and you will pay zakat on the whole price of the share. Okay, that is if you are investing short term. If your intention is to invest long term, then you are becoming a partner in that company. So when you buy a share in a company, you are becoming a partner in that company in proportion to the amount of shares that you have bought. So for example, if you have 1,000 shares of IBM, you are a partner in IBM's business in proportion to the amount of shares that you own. Okay, so does that make sense? So, that would probably be maybe less than 1%, most likely less than 1%, but still, you are a partner. Okay, and so because you are now a partner in the business, you will give zakat on those shares as if you own the business yourself, right? And so that's how you calculate it. You calculate the zakat, just like I mentioned earlier. When it came to your 401k, you pay zakat only on the zakatable portion of your 401k, meaning the amount that represents the zakatable assets of the companies that you have invested in. How do you estimate that? I mentioned earlier, again, use a safe and conservative estimate anywhere between 33% to 50%. Okay, because you will be from your 401k or IRA, you will be deducting the 10% penalty, and then you will be deducting the taxes, and then you will deduct the non-zakatable portion of your 401k or IRA. I hope this makes sense. If not, then please feel free to email me at imam@iclaketravis.org. My name is Muhammad Umar Ismail, and I am the Imam at the Islamic Center of Lake Travis. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.